And hello everyone, welcome to Invader's Nightly News and Weather Forecast for August 21st, 2021, the special edition of Invader's Nightly News and Weather Forecast Hurricane Central Update, as we have a lot to talk about, and a lot has changed with Hurricane Henri. And we are watching the tropics very closely, as we continue to monitor a dangerous threat towards the southern New England area, as Hurricane Henri could make landfall. Full landfall where the Iowa could make landfall in New York by 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Sunday tomorrow. Less than 24 hours away from landfall. We have a lot to talk about here on FS Rick News. So, quick updates here. Grace is now post-tropical cyclone now, so you can see, or it's moving in mainland Mexico now with winds at 25 miles, as you can see. So yeah, but let's talk more about Hurricane Henri here. This is the 8 p.m. EDT advisory. This is the new advisory, came out from the National Hurricane Center just a few minutes ago. By the time this video is recorded here, here are the key messages for Hurricane Henri. Dangerous storm surge is expected to begin late tonight or Sunday in portions of Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and southern Massachusetts, where a storm surge warning has been issued. Residents in these areas should follow any advice given by local officials. Hurricane conditions are expected to begin late tonight or Sunday in portions of Long Island, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, where a hurricane warning is in effect. Tropical storm conditions will begin in these areas tonight. Heavy rainfall may lead to consider flash urban and small stream flooding, along with the potential for widespread minor to isolated moderate river flooding over portions of Long Island, New England, eastern New York, and New Jersey. Swells from Henri will continue to affect much of the east coast of the U.S. United States during the next day or two. These swells could cause life-threatening surf and rip currents. So let's talk more about Hurricane Henri. Here are the wind speed probabilities. So if you know where you live, and you know if you're in this purple, dark red, or orange, you have a good chance of feeling tropical force winds up to 39 miles from this hurricane. If you're in the 58-mile range, where you can see winds up to 58 miles, if you're in this area, you also have a good chance of feeling 58-mile winds as this system closes in. And if you're in the hurricane wind speed probabilities, here in the screen, you still have a very good chance of feeling hurricane force winds from the center as this makes landfall. So when this makes landfall somewhere in this area, you might have a good chance of feeling hurricane force winds. So we need to talk more about this concern as we continue to monitor. So here's the earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds. So by Sunday 2 a.m., if you're along this line up here, or Sunday 8 a.m., you might start feeling the winds coming in. The earliest reasonable time is in this area. By Sunday 2 a.m., you might start feeling the tropical storm force winds getting heavier and stronger. And the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds, all times are EDT here, are most likely by Sunday 8 a.m. You might feel the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds from Hurricane Henri here. If you're in this area up here, so Sunday 8 a.m., for these areas right here, you might start feeling the impacts of these tropical storm force winds. The most likely arrival time is Sunday 8 a.m. along parts of Connecticut, Rhode Island, parts of Long Island and New York here, parts of Massachusetts along. Could feel these tropical storm force winds along. The warning / contracting map. Let's talk more about that now. So you can see Hurricane Henri is closing in now. You can see what's going on. So right here, let me separate this. So we do have a hurricane warning and tropical storm warning. Tropical storm warning along here, in this purple right here, where my mouse is, this is a tropical storm warning. We do have a tropical storm warnings for parts of New York here, Long Island here, where we do have a hurricane warning for Long Island. So you're along in these areas, if you know where your city is, especially we do have one of our viewers who live in this area. One of our viewers are living in this hurricane warning area, so you should watch this closely. So you can see if you're in this red, along this area, you have a good chance of seeing hurricane conditions. So let's zoom in here. If you're along this area, there is a hurricane warning in effect for those areas. I repeat, a hurricane warning is in effect for those areas right now. Along these areas here, as you can see, let's look at the weather story here. With Hurricane Henri, we do have tropical storm warnings right along the coast here, then hurricane warnings. So you know you're in this area, right here. You're in this little reddish area. this little lighter red shade here, you are in the hurricane warning. If you're in a darker shade red, that means you are in the tropical warning. So tropical warnings in effect in this area. Why I highlight it, not this red, do not include this light red. If you're really sure you know you're in this area of darker shade of red, you are in the tropical storm warned area. If you're along this purple line here, you are in a storm surge warning. This is included the purple line from in this area. So you're in this purple area here. There's a storm surge warning, 3 to 5 feet. Industrials above ground is possible within surge formed areas. Greatest duration along Rhode Island coast, and avoid traveling through these flooded areas. So if you're in this area, you have a very good chance of seeing storm surge, and there's a storm surge warning in this area. Now it's time to prepare and have your plans ready. These things can get worse from here. And let's look at the storm surge warnings and watches again. Again, we do have storm surge watches and storm surge warnings. So, if you live along these storm surge warning areas, you need to be on a lookout for any storm surge from the coast here as waves should start coming in. You can see there is a storm surge warning in effect in that area. Let's look at the tracking cone here. We zoom out here. For the next update, we might see this could strengthen to 80-mile winds. By the time it makes very close landfall near New York, Long Island coast here, it is expected to make 70 miles at landfall. So this could go back down to tropical storm force level, and this could become tropical storm when it makes landfall, or maybe hurricane, Category 1 hurricane at landfall. But it's possible this could be a 70-mile tropical storm at landfall, or 75 miles. It depends, because all the models are rapidly changing as we get close. So models are changing a lot. The track is changing. By the time it gets into Massachusetts near Springfield, it's expected to be 45-mile winds here. When it nears this area. By the time it gets to New Hampshire, it will be a tropical depression with the winds of 30 miles. And when it gets near Maine, just south the coast, along the coast of Maine, 30 miles post-tropical cyclone depression, post-tropical depression, and 30 miles along the Maine coast, where it will enter the cooler waters and will lose its strength and powers. So, if you're really sure you're in this area, please, know where you live and know if you're in this orange, red, darker shade red, purple areas. You are at risk for strong tropical storm force winds. If you sure you're in this orange, red, darker shade of red or purple, you have a good chance of feeling these tropical storm force winds. So if you're in the 60-70 range, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, and 100 and 90 and greater, you have a good chance of feeling tropical storm force winds. Now, if you're in the 50-knot range here, let me remove this. If you're along the red, orange, this orange here, you're along the 70-80 percentage, this and that, the 80-90, 90 greater, 80-90, 70-80, 60-70, and 50-60, and 40-50 percentage, you might have a good chance of feeling 50-knot winds. And if you're along the 64-knot winds here, along this greenish from 10 to 20% and 20-30%, you also have a good chance of feeling those hurricane force winds up to 64 knots. So please heed the warnings and have a plan ready. Mobilize your plan soon. And here's the keys, messages in Spanish. If you read Spanish, if you want a translation in Spanish here, then we got storm surge and duration. They're going to be high, up to 3 to 5 feet of storm surge inland is possible along the coast here. So you see these yellows and blues here. Here's the potential storm surge flooding key here. You want to read that. If you're in that area, please heed those warnings, and please have a plan ready. If you're sure you know if you live in this area, please have a plan ready, because things could get ugly. What was that? Oh, I think my iPad went off. Sorry, I heard someone say, okay, so have a plan ready, and be sure to, get your plans mobilized. So please know where you live, and if you're along the storm surge coast here, I suggest you have a plan ready. So watch the whole video. I'm just explaining everything here. because this is very important information. You should not miss out. And I think this is very important you watch the whole video. I want to make sure this is fast information, but I'll give you a tropical update later on. I'll make a video on that. So if you're in the storm surge forecast graphic here, if you're along okay, I'm gonna underline this. If you're along from Cape May to east to Rockaway Inlet, you expect 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. In this area, expect 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. Then you're from East Rockaway Inlet, from Mastic Beach, all the way from here, from Long Island Sound, from here to there, if you're along this area, if you're in this black area, this black highlighted hand drawing area, you'll expect 3 to 5 feet of storm surge. 3 to 5 peak storm surge according to the National Hurricane Center, the storm surge graphic here. Then you're along this pink area. If you're along this pink area right here, sorry, it's kind of a little bad here. So if you're along this yellow area, let me do yellow. So sorry about that. Let me change it. So you're along this yellow area, right here, where I drew yellow. You expect 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. That's along the Massachusetts Bay. If you're along the Massachusetts Bay here, you expect 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. And if you're in this blue area right here, where I'm drawing blue right now, if you're in this area along just south of Massachusetts Bay, you might expect 2 to 4 feet of storm surge. So we got 1 to 3 feet of storm surge in this area, 2 to 4 feet of storm surge in this black area. This little shorter blue area, 2 to 4 feet of storm surge, and up here 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. So this is very important. You know how much storm surge is happening and how much is coming up, because you're in one of those areas. You need to be watching closely. And this is the this was created at 7:50. So the rainfall totals, if you're along this orange area, you could expect up to 10 inches of rain. If you're along the orange area right here, where is this orange right there, where the blue is, expect up to 10 inches of rain possible. Now, if you're in this yellow area, if you know where you are, and you know you're in this yellow area right here, these little yellow areas spread out, you could expect up to 6 inches of rain. 6 inches of rain possible for those in the yellow area. Then you're in the darker greenish area. So this green color right here, the darkish greenish, you could expect up to 4 inches of rain. Then you're in the lighter green area. If you're in the lighter green area, like this color right here I drew, you could expect up to 2 or 1 feet of rain possible. So please know how much rain you're gonna get, because if you have a basement that could flood easily, this could be helpful for you if you're along the southern New England area. And here's another graphic here. If you're along this reddish area, this moderate risk area, you have a good chance of seeing up to you could possibly see up to 3 to 6 feet of rain. So you're along this moderate risk area of flash flood risk. There's possible that your area could see up to 3 to 6 feet of inches of rain, maybe up to 10 inches of rain in this area. Possible in this area, they could see up to 10 inches of rain, 10 inches of rain in this area, possible 10 inches in this area. But if you're in the moderate risk area, you could possibly see up to 3 to 6 inches of rain along that area. So it's important you know that information as well. And let's move on to the forecast models. We have a lot of forecast model runs. Here's the icon model here, which shows us how strong Hurricane Henri could be. And by the time it makes landfall, much the forecast models is indicating much of the rain and heavy rain will be along the west side, while the strong winds will be along this area. So the strong winds could be felt over here, and some strong winds along to the west side of this. So there could be some strong winds to the east, and some parts of the west could feel some strong winds. But much of this will be along that area. Okay, now. Okay, now. So back to what we were talking about. So, as this makes landfall, expected to track in this direction here. It makes a little sharp turn to this direction. You can see where I outlined right here on the map. And once it turns over, it's gonna be like that. So like that. with the icon model, the icon run. Now we're gonna talk about the GFS here with the GFS model. It's still the same with the GFS. You can see all the rain, heavy rain is to the west of this. So if you live along the west, you can expect heavy rain. Then this becomes a big chunk of moisture system. Then it just brings more rain along the southern New England area and up to the northern New England area. So yeah, that's what we're watching along with this one. So let's look at the HRR model, which is usually accurate in forecasting. So oops, I'm looking at the wrong one. I meant to go to northeast. I'm sorry about that. So once this makes landfall, here's the HRR model here. Once it nears land here, the HRR model is different. So now usually when we talk about hurricanes, usually there will be quadrants. So a quadrant, we split these into four quadrants. We have the northwest quadrant and the southwest quadrant, and you got the northeast quadrant. Then we got the southeast quadrant. So there's four quadrants in this hurricane, and they're usually divided. They're the center. So mostly you don't see a lot from the east quadrant, but this time most of the heavy rain will be felt from the northwest quadrant and some from the southwest quadrant. So much of the heavy rain could be felt in the northwestern quadrant area. So if you know you're in that quadrant area, along the quadrant area, you could expect some heavy rain. And I outlined in this really detailed map here. So if you're along this area here, and you know you're along this heavy rain area, you could expect some dangerous conditions along the western quadrant. So you know you're along Long Island or New York, expect heavy rain up from 3 to 6 inches, maybe up to 10-inch rains is possible according to the HRR model, which is usually accurate. Sorry about that. That's some Discord call. I should really turn that off. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. Just a Discord call. Back to what I was saying. So that is what we are watching with that model. So that well, let's go back to the HRR model to the northeast now. So let's look at the heavy rainfall. The rainfall we expect from Hurricane Henri. This is how much rainfall you could possibility expect here. Let me change the model run on here, guys. Excuse me. Let me look for that longer model run here. So I think it was like 18Z, I believe. Yeah, here we go. So how much rain we could expect? This is how much rain you could expect along here. So when you're in this area, expect up to 10 inches of rain. The HR model is going all over the place here, but yeah, expect to 5 inches of rain. It's kind of crazy right now. Let me use the GFS. Sometimes the HRR model just goes out of place here, but here's how much rain you could expect. Maybe up to 6, 7 inches of rain along here. Maybe up to 10 inches of rain is possible along this area. So I want to make this video short, but it's going to be like a long 20-minute video, but it explains everything. So you want to skip this whole entire video, go ahead. Be my guest. I think this video is going long. So the winds. Let's talk about the winds. What are the winds we're talking about? We expect strong winds. And the winds in this will be up to 40 knots. So this is the winds expected with this. So here 31 knots, along here 35 knots. So you don't want to be on the east side of this. Wind gusts are even higher. Look at this. This is going to be up to 58 knots. The wind gusts will be up to 48 to 50 knots. It's going to be very strong winds as this moves inland. So yeah, it's going to be pretty strong winds. So if you know you're in this bluish purplish area here, you could expect up to 40 to 50-mile winds. Right here, 47 knots near Huntington, 39 knots near New York, 26 knots. This, and if you live along this area, you don't want to be in this area. Trust me, this is where the strong winds are going. And yeah, it's gonna get ugly. So have your plans ready, and please be sure you know everything and what to do. And yeah, so that's all for Invader's nightly news and weather forecast for this special Hurricane Central update. I am Meteorologist Invader. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and take care. Bye, guys. And hopefully this information was helpful. You can skip the video if you want. I understand it's 20 minutes long, but yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you guys next one. Bye, guys.